In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Kuhn Mini shoulder rest, the most adorable little shoulder rest little violin beginners can use. The Kuhn Mini is an adorable little addition to the little beginner violin accessories in the violin case. I love recommending the violin shoulder rest just for a few simple reasons. The shoulder rest was invented to prevent injuries, so it's supposed to maximize comfort as much as possible. Now, what makes the Kuhn Mini so amazing is that it's the same Kuhn shoulder rest that professionals use and love, but in a miniature form. It comes in this box over here. We're gonna do a little unboxing in just a second. I have the black one over here, and mind you, the Kuhn Mini comes in all sorts of different colors. I have students coming in with blue shoulder rest, purple shoulder rest, yellow shoulder rest. It is so fun for each individual violinist to share their personality with a different color of the Kuhn Mini. Don't be fooled by the plastic feel of this Kuhn Mini. These are very durable shoulder rests, and Kuhn is a respectable company based out of Canada. I have used a Kuhn Bravo for many, many years. I still use it to this day. I find it to be the most comfortable for my shoulder, my body type. And you always want to make sure that you are choosing a shoulder rest that best fits the student. Some students will have long necks, some students will have wider shoulders, but I'm guessing if you're a parent or a teacher looking for the right shoulder rest for your young beginner, I can't recommend this enough because most young students don't have wide shoulders yet, don't have long necks, and this is a great way to just get them started with a shoulder rest. Personally, with my own studio, I have students begin with a sponge and a foam. And I want to be clear about that I don't know if this is like a good first shoulder rest. I say that this is probably a good upgrade from your first foam rest, I should say. So I like to have students have a little bit of foam just so that way they have a cushion. It's not feeling uncomfortable. Because what I've noticed with Kuhn Minis is that it's a great shoulder rest if the violinist has really practiced posture, has really practiced their playing position with the violin on their shoulder. This is not a good shoulder rest for someone who is like right out of the gate starting out. I always recommend the foam first, and then this is a really good upgrade. And this is a shoulder rest that fits 1/8 size and 1/4 size violins. And what's great about this is that you can extend this piece here, and you have to make sure that you don't lose any of the pieces. That's the one downside about the Kuhn Mini, is that you have this little bracket, and the bracket allows you to extend the shoulders a little bit more. However, if you lose this little screw, then you will be out of luck, because then you can't really use a shoulder rest unless you like duct tape it around, but it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So make sure, parents, that if you are practicing with your child or you want to readjust the shoulder rest, make sure you don't lose this tiny little screw, because then what happens is that, let's say the student puts a lot of pressure, it falls off, and then you're stuck with half a shoulder rest that kind of works. So let me just install this back on and talk about some of the other features of the Kuhn Mini. The Kuhn Mini also has a great rubber on the handles. What's great about the legs here is that you have a really nice solid rubber that doesn't damage the varnish of the instrument. So if you're renting, or if you're a young beginner who is thinking about purchasing a violin, or you are, like I said, you're renting and you need to return the violin, it's not going to scratch the varnish. It is a reliable type of rubber. It's not going to peel anything off. So that's another great aspect about the Kuhn Mini. And it's just so cute. I mean, look how tiny it is. It's so cute. All right, so let's get to the unboxing. So we have this small little box in stripes, says Kuhn Mini, and these little characters to make the Kuhn Mini more approachable, more fun. And let's go ahead and open the box. So we're going to check out all the different pieces that are inside the Kuhn Mini. Now, mind you, the shoulder rest is not going to be automatically installed, so I'm going to take you step by step on how to do that. So you'll have a few pieces right out of the gate. You'll have the little pamphlet, you have all the different pieces of the Kuhn, and we're going to put the box over to the side here. And this is what it'll look like right out of the box. You're not going to have the legs attached to the Kuhn shoulder rest. So you're going to have the big Kuhn logo, says the Kuhn rest 1/8 to 1/4 size. You have the little pamphlet on how to install it on your violin, which I'll get to in a moment with a different demonstration. And I also want to mention that you have these two little poles that you can insert the Kuhn rest. And now here's a kicker. These Kuhn legs have two different heights. You want to put the small Kuhn handle or the shoulder on the left side where it says Kuhn. So you're going to screw that on very tightly so that way it doesn't come off. It doesn't have to go all the way down, just a little bit. And then you're going to install the bracket on the right side. And as I mentioned, you can extend the bracket to your liking. When the child grows and the violin gets bigger, you can extend it to a certain amount before you actually upgrade to a new shoulder rest. And then once you have decided that this is the appropriate width of the shoulder rest that you want to install on your child's violin, then you go ahead and install the tall handle on the right side of the violin. And this could be varied by height. So if you want a lower height, then you just screw the shoulder rest a little bit more to make sure that the handle is a little lower. Or if you want it a little higher, if the child's chest dips down a little bit, then you can add some height with that. So now we're going to show you how to actually install the shoulder rest on your violin. Now, this is a half-size violin, so I'll do my best to demonstrate how to put it on the shoulder rest because the shoulder rest does have its limits. It's only from 1/8 to 1/4 size violin. So I'm going to extend the bracket just for a moment, and I'm going to extend it as much as possible so that way you get a good idea on how to install the shoulder rest. So as you install the violin shoulder rest, the Kuhn Mini, the small side should be on the side of the chin rest and the tall side should be on the right side of the instrument. So that is what's going to look like when you have it fully installed. Now, again, this is a bigger violin than the shoulder rest itself that is capable of extending to, but alas, this is the best I got in terms of the violin. So I'm going to install it. This is how I install it. You put the small leg on first, and then you slide the right leg on the right side of the instrument. And there's going to be a little bit of a dip between the left side onto the right side. That's what it looks like on the left side. The shoulder rest, the small leg goes on the side of the chin rest. And then on the other side, you want the tall leg to be on the other side. Now, this is not the most ideal place to have that tall leg. Generally, you want that tall leg to be a little bit higher up so that way the shoulder rest is flat, kind of similar to what the pamphlet says inside the Kuhn box. So you want it kind of where I'm pointing my finger. That's exactly how you want to lay it out because it'll be more comfortable for your child to put it on. Let's talk about how long this Kuhn Mini is. So I have a ruler over here. I would say this is about from end to end about 13.5 centimeters. So this is 13.5 centimeters, or you can, in terms of inches, is a 5.5 inches long. And then in terms of the width, there are two different types of widths, right? So you have the Kuhn width, and then you have the leg. So I'm only going to go based on the thickest part or the longest part of the Kuhn shoulder rest. So here we go. So let's measure that out in terms of centimeters because that's going to be easier. Around 3 centimeters. So it's pretty small. So it's really easy to fit in your student's violin case. And you could just put it on the side where you have the neck of the violin. It's really easy to store. In terms of pricing, the pricing for the Kuhn Mini is around $25 USD, and I think for a shoulder rest, that's actually not a bad deal given the fact that you're buying from a reliable brand. But also, if you have a child that is playing on an 8th size violin and upgrading up to a quarter size violin, the Kuhn Mini is an excellent option because of the fact that you can extend the shoulder rest bracket. That's the one really good thing about this Kuhn Mini, is that parents, music education can get a little pricey. So I'm here to help you try to get the best deal, but also get some knowledge about some reliable brands out there. And the Kuhn Mini is something that I recommend to all my students in my violin studio. So what do you think of the Kuhn Mini? This is an adorable little shoulder rest that is a great addition to the young beginner's violin journey. And as I said before, it may not be the first best shoulder rest to use when you're a beginner, but it's definitely the best second option when you are upgrading from a foam shoulder rest. So leave a comment down below. Does your child use a Kuhn Mini? Are you a teacher that likes the Kuhn Mini? What are some pros and some cons? I'd love to get the conversation going. And if you want some more content regarding shoulder rest, I have a bunch of videos on the channel, but I'm going to leave some over here for you to take a look at.